Hey everyone, I'm Joe McNamee. I buy and sell houses, and I teach other people how to do what it is that I do by letting them watch me do it live right in front of their face. This happens to be a deal that I did right in front of my class, and you're not going to believe what the problem is. I always teach my students, pay attention to the seller, pay attention to the buyer, pay attention to the other professionals that you're connecting with, identify the problem quickly, and solve it. The problem, a lot of times people will think that the problem is that they need to sell their house. That may not be the problem. All right, so with this one right here, I brought this seller in, and this seller was sitting there with this house. She had several different properties, but this is a nice brick rancher, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on 5 3/4 acres. It's free and clear, so it's not over leveraged or anything like that. And by the way, you can't buy it subject to because there's no debt on it. All right, but what she did was she had a family member who's a real estate attorney who knows nothing about real estate, but she had done a seller finance deal with an individual, and she thought that she was going to have to go through the foreclosure process, the ugly foreclosure process, to get the buyer out of that house, but they weren't able to make the payments anymore. Something happened with them. I don't know if they lost their job or what it was. So when she called us, I said to her, I said, well, here, I'll tell you exactly what to do with it. And so I told her, and she went to her attorney, and the attorney said, oh, well, that will never work. And I told her, I said, just try it anyway. Whether he says it'll work or not work, I'm used to hearing that from a lot of attorneys. Just go ahead and try it anyway. So she did what I told her to do, and that quick, they moved out. She got the house back, the deed converted back, and she didn't have to do a thing. Now, this was in the late winter, the end of the winter, getting ready to turn spring. And her biggest complaint with this house was she didn't want to have to load a riding lawnmower on a trailer and take it over there and cut that grass once or twice a month. So her problem was she didn't want to have to cut the grass, not that she needed to get the house sold. Now, of course, selling the house solves the problem, but that's not what the real problem was. She just didn't want to have to cut the grass. So I put an option to purchase in place, and quickly, I think it was less than a week, we had a buyer in place on that property. And when our buyers go in place, the seller's not responsible for maintenance, upkeep, or any of that stuff. So we set this up as a seller finance deal, $500 a month, no interest. So once we got control of that, we put our buyer in place, our cash flow, well, you can see it on the picture there. But the bottom line is, identify the problem and solve the problem. It's not always as complicated as getting the house sold. There could be something else that you could be doing there that you're solving the problem for. Okay?